today's show, I wanted to have a little bit of fun and talk about the offseason. Now, the New Orleans Saints are still alive for their playoff chances this season, but I want to give you my 5-step plan to get New Orleans back where they belong in the postseason, playing football in February for a Super Bowl. And without further ado, I want you to let me know, what's the first thing you would do if you ran the New Orleans Saints? Would you fire Dennis Allen? Would you cut Derek Carr? Would you draft Jayden Daniels? Would you blow up the whole operation? Just let me know in the comment section. I can't wait to see what you guys have to say. Now, just some transparency for you. I am solo producing this, so I'm talking, clicking buttons, and making the whole thing happen. So just bear with me, but the content's going to be incredible. Step 1, you got to fire Dennis Allen and Peat Carmichael. I will say this. I think that the New Orleans Saints should try and keep Darren Rizzi as best as they can. He has been good despite, Lou Hedley and Blake Grupe not being great this year. I have some thoughts there, so just bear with me for a second. But I want to talk about DA right now because holy cow, he's been bad. He has been just atrocious. His overall record with the New Orleans Saints, 13-17. He's 21-45 as an NFL head coach, including that stint that he had with the Raiders. Against the NFC South, the worst division of football the past 2 years, he has a losing record. He's only had back-to-back wins 3 times with the New Orleans Saints. His longest win streak, 3 games. And he only has 2 wins against teams over 500. That's not good, y'all. That's really, really bad. And my honest take and my honest thoughts on this, you just can't continue with the mediocrity. The New Orleans Saints are a winning football team. Over the last 10 years, they're one of the most winning football teams. Look it up. Look up the numbers. You'll be shocked. But teams are a product of their head coach and of the leaders that they have in the locker room. Now, I do think that they have good leadership with guys like Tyrann Mathieu, Demario Davis, Cameron Jordan, Alvin Kamara. Hell, even Michael Thomas, I think, is somewhat of a good leader. I know that's kind of a touchy subject for some people, but Mike has always been a very good leader for New Orleans, if you ask me. Again, I don't want to get into too much of that because that's not what the show is about, but you're a product of your coaching. Look at the Detroit Lions. A few years ago, they were a joke. Now look at them now. The Cleveland Browns. Kevin Stefanski righted the ship. They're doing just fine. They're a good football team. They've had like 4 or 5 starting quarterbacks. Nick Chubb is on IR. And they are a winning football team. They're great. So that's my point. If you can have teams with holes in the roster, you can have good players, quality young and veteran players. But if you don't know how to utilize them, there's no point in doing any of this. And like I said, I want to talk about Darren Rizzi for a second. I do think the Riz God has been pretty good this year. Obviously, Lou Hedley and Blake Grupe have not been exactly what you wanted. They haven't been what you have expected or asked of. Quite honestly, been underperforming in a lot of areas. That being said, I mean, you had Rashid Shaheed house one against the Packers. You had the blocked punt against the Panthers yesterday. I think if you keep Darren Rizzi around, that's a good thing. He's fired up on the sideline. He's running around getting amped, getting in refs' ears when they're making bad calls or making questionable decisions. So that's my thing. I think the Riz God should stick around. Obviously, Grupe and Hedley need to be better, but there has been some really good flashes, and the energy and the support that he gives for that team is second to none. So I will say this. When the New Orleans Saints fire Dennis Allen, God, I hope it's really, really soon. Because at the end of the day, it's got to happen sooner rather than later, right? Like, I'm just so tired of it. But when the New Orleans Saints fire Dennis Allen, we're going to be live. We're going to be celebrating. We're going to be breaking it down, going through coaching candidates, going through coaching replacements, Peat Carmichael replacements, all that jazz. And guys, I want to say this. My birthday is coming up on December 15th. We celebrated this past weekend on the watch party, but the celebration ain't over because I'm a Saints fan, and us Louisianimals love to party. So help me out. I'm turning 25, but I want 24K by Friday, December 15th. We're less than 50 away, so help a brother out. So I do want to talk about number 2. Step number 2. Hire Ben Johnson no matter the cost. I don't give a damn how much he wants in money. I don't care what he wants to change. I don't care what he wants to do. You get him in New Orleans no matter the cost. Ben Johnson is a stellar coach. He is so smart, and he has turned this Detroit Lions offense into a powerhouse. So in terms of a Dennis Allen replacement, hire Ben Johnson. He has coached with the Detroit Lions. He joined in 2019 as an offensive quality control coach, and you can see the numbers right next to me. The yards per game, 390 is number 3 overall. A few weeks ago, they had the number 2 overall offense in terms of yards. I want Ben Johnson. I'm just going to keep it real with you. And he only has 1 year of coaching experience. You can see the points per game, 26.2. That's good for 7th in the NFL. Guys, Ben Johnson's a good football coach, and he is a very smart coach. Even in his past, there have been teachers who were like, here's a math problem. And he was like, I'm going to find a different way to solve it because I'm just that smart. Ben Johnson is crazy good. And I will say this, call me crazy. Call me insane. Get after me in the comments section. You say what you want. I understand Derek Carr has been bad. I'm not here defending him at all. I think he needs to be better. I think he needs to hold himself accountable. I think he needs to just stop doing what he's doing. Dennis Allen's thing is keep doing what you're doing. Do the opposite. But I will say this. It's not like he's gotten any favors from the coaches. It's not like he's gotten any help from the coaches. They haven't called good plays for him. They haven't done anything really worth a damn for him. And when you have Peat Carmichael calling you plays and he's the worst OC in the NFL, it doesn't make it any easier. His offensive line has been dookie all season. That doesn't help out either. Could he get rid of the ball quicker? Could he make better reads? Absolutely. But it's not like he's had any favors done for him. Bring me a good offensive mind. And I think that will help this offense just get a little bit more. It'll just right the ship, if you will. So let me know, who do you want to be the New Orleans Saints head coach in 2024? Let me know in the comment section. I can't wait to see what you have to say. And guys, I also can't wait to tell y'all all about our awesome sponsor, Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. It's so much fun, and it's so dang simple. You just pick 2 or more players. You choose more or less based on a numerical stat projection. And here's the projections I'm rolling with today. Jason Tatum, Taco Tuesday, baby. 22.5 points. That number is discounted on Taco Tuesday. They offer a lot of cool specials all throughout the week. But we all know it's F. Anthony Davis, so I'm taking the less on his projected points at 26.5. You can tail me. You can fade me. You can do whatever you want. Just do it with Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use that promo code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring today's video. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, step number 3. Once you hire Ben Johnson, you got to let him pick his quarterback. And I'm going to tell you this, and you're not going to like it, but Derek Carr is going to be around next year, whether you want him to be or not. It is too much money invested in Derek Carr over the next few years in order for him to just be cut or be traded away or whatever. There's a no trade clause in his contract. And he's just not the quarterback of the future. He's not the franchise guy. He's not going to be the guy who takes his team to a Super Bowl and builds this team up to a winning roster. So here are the cap hits. You can see it on your screen. I'm not going to go through all the information. You can read it if you need to. You can pause this video. But here's the cap hits for pre-June 1st. In 2024, the dead cap his cap hit is $35.7 million. 2025, $45.7 million. 2026, $55.7 million, and in 2027, $5.7 million. But here's how things shake out with the post-June 1 designation. Now, the difference between post and pre-June 1, if you were to move on from him pre-June 1, you're not allowed to use that money, or you can use that money right away. You don't save as much money. You have to lose more money. But in post-June 1st, you don't get to see that money. You can list him as a post-June 1 designation, and he can be cut. But you won't get to see that money until after the draft and after free agency opens. So that is like the big drawback of waiting until after June 1. So that's the cap hit numbers for you. And if you wanted to go pick your quarterback, I think these 3 guys are all really good options. Drake May, Caleb Williams, they're not going to the New Orleans Saints. That's just not going to happen. I do fear that Jayden Daniels could end up with like the Las Vegas Raiders or the New York Giants, Sheduer Sanders, I think he'd be an awesome option. I met him in Mexico. He's a really cool dude. He told me he'd love to keep that black and gold uniform on. Not really, but still it'd be fun to have him around. And J.J. McCarthy, he's been good with Michigan the past few years, gotten him to the college football playoff in multiple years. So you may see a name not on here, Bo Nix. Keep pick six Knicks as far away from my team as possible. You guys may like him. I can't stand the guy. I think he stinks, to be quite frank. So I think if you go and draft any of these three quarterbacks, that'd be a good move. So step number 4, you have to fix the trenches. The offensive line and the defensive line have just plain and simply not been getting it done. So I want to look at the PFF grades for the offensive line for New Orleans. As you can see on your screen, it's really not good. Eric McCoy, he's been pretty damn good. Ryan Ramczyk, he's always pretty damn good, but he's old, man. He's getting up there in the age column. James Hurst, what the hell's going on, man? Andrus Peat, he's not even a left tackle. He's a left guard, and he's filling in because Trevor Penning got benched. Cesar Ruiz just got a freaking contract extension, yet he's playing like he's never played in the NFL before. It's baffling to me that this offensive line has been so bad. So when I was talking about Derek Carr earlier, this is what I'm talking about. It's not like he has had any favors. But let's go to the other side of the ball here and look at the production from the starting 4 defensive linemen for New Orleans. Carl Granderson started off the year red hot. He started off great this year. But the production's kind of slowed down a little bit. As the case with Cam Jordan, he isn't the player he used to be. He's still a good player, still creates havoc, still creates problems for opposing quarterbacks, but that doesn't mean that he is the player he used to be. And I think that that's a pill that we all have to be prepared to swallow. Cam Jordan isn't the guy that we want him to be, and we know and love him. He's still a good football player, but he isn't as – he's just getting old, man. It happens. It happens to everyone. Nathan Shepard, Colin Saunders. Saunders is more of a run-stopping guy, so the lack of sacks, lack of quarterback hits isn't as much of an issue. And quite honestly, Colin Saunders is just a versatile, useful player. Give me that gumbo package on offense every day. Nathan Shepard, want to see a little bit more out of him. But if you ask me, I think the Saints just need to get younger and more athletic in the trenches. Not just on defense, but on offense as well. You cut the age down. You stop having old guys try and block for your quarterback. Things could be a little bit better. Like I've seen this happen this year, and I don't like it. I'm tired of seeing the offensive line let Derek Carr get hit. I'm tired of Derek Carr holding on the ball too long. Just give me a better offensive line. Defensively, the pressures are there. They're getting so close to bringing down the quarterback. They're getting so close to containing mobile quarterbacks, but it's just not enough. The mobile quarterbacks, the lack of sacks, it's just not enough. And I think that it's okay to say that. It's just not enough. It can be better. Everyone knows it can be better. I just want to see more. And my last step, number 5, got to add some quality linebacker depth, whether that's through the draft, whether that's through free agency, because mobile quarterbacks in the run game have absolutely shredded New Orleans this year. I mean, we're making guys like Tyson Bagent and Joshua Dobbs look like they're Michael Vick, and it's unbelievable to me. And when you take a look at what the Saints defense has done against the run this year, here are the numbers. That number's not good. That one's not good. That one's not good. That one's not good. That one's not good either, but it's all right. Like, you're number 27th in the NFL out of 32 in opponents' rush play percentage. They're running the ball on you, not that much, but you're still not you're not able to capitalize and make something happen here. The yards per rush, 4.6 yards per carry. That's horrible. Rushing yards per game, 30, right under 30. What are we doing here? And then opponent yards per game in just general, 131 and a half. Like, I'm just not happy with how the run defense has played out this year. I've been very disappointed, and the rushing touchdowns per game is low, but like, it's still not good. It's like I feel like I'm just compensating for bad football play and being like, it's okay enough. But look at the mobile quarterbacks. Running backs, just whatever. Fine. They're going to have running backs that are good, that are going to make plays. But the fact that you're making Jordan Love, Desmond Ridder, Tyson Bagent, Josh Dobbs, and even in Week 14, Bryce Young, you're letting them do this kind of stuff to you. Trevor Lawrence is a really good quarterback. He's a quality guy. But 8 carries for 60 yards is not good. Tyson Bagent looked like Vanilla Vic. 8 carries for 70 yards. Josh Dobbs had a rushing touchdown, as did Jordan Love. And Bryce Young and Desmond Ridder carved you up in the run game. They were able to extend drives. They were able to stay alive. It's a big reason why the Falcons won, and thank God that the Panthers stink, so you don't have to worry about them. But the depth chart for New Orleans needs to just get better. Pete Werner, he's great. I think he's a good football player, staying healthy this season for the most part, which is really good news. Demario Davis, believe it or not, he's aging like a fine wine and just continues to play at a very high level. Zach Bond, he's not a coverage guy. But Dennis Allen, send him on the effing blitz, man. Like, it works. You have Nephi Sewell, who blocked a punt last week. You got DeMarco Jackson, who picked up the punt and ran it in for a touchdown. Ty Summers also on the roster. And Monty Rice added earlier this week as a practice squad guy. My point in all of this is just the Saints, there's so many minuscule problems. You fix a few things here and there. This is a playoff team. A lot of one-possession losses. You fix a few minor things, and I think that this team will be just all right. I'm not necessarily optimistic because I don't think that the Saints are sold on firing Dennis Allen, but they better be. They need to be. It's just plain and simple. They have to be. So I want you to let me know, where should the New Orleans Saints add some linebacker depth? There's a lot of really good, talented prospects in the draft this upcoming year. There's also a handful of interesting names in free agency. So I want you to shout them out in the comment section. And if I missed any keys to improving this team, I want you to let me know in the comment section as well. But as always, Saints fans, thank you for tuning in on today's video. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.